Hi, my name is Pat, and this is my channel, Book Chat with Pat, and I'm glad that you're here. Today I'm going to be talking about my reading plans for the month of April, and these plans include participation in a number of exciting events. First up, I'm going to be reading with my friend Lekden at Reading from the Depths, Adrian Tchaikovsky's Children of Time. We've been talking about this and looking forward to this for a long time, and finally April is just about upon us. Additionally, the new Futurian Fellowship science fiction reading group that I'm participating in has decided to make Children of Time the selection for April. Shandi Standfast started this group with Mark Richardson and some other faithful science fiction readers, and Sean invited me, just as the group was getting started, and they put Children of Time on the schedule at the same time that I was already planning to be reading it with Lekden. So I really, really appreciate that. Additionally, I'm going to be making an attempt to read James Joyce's Finnegans Wake. Roy at Roy Reads Anything, my good friend from the Ulysses 6, has decided that he wanted to give Finnegans Wake a go. And he asked everyone from, from the Ulysses 6 if we would like to join him. And many of us said yes. Roy has come up with a plan for us to attempt Finnegans Wake over a 3-month period. And it's a plan, not necessarily reading the book in order from beginning to end, but we're going to be reading selections from Finnegans Wake, hopefully over 3 months. I trust Roy, and I trust the plan that he has come up with. I can't say I'm optimistic about my ability to understand Finnegans Wake. I'm not sure if we're even supposed to. I know when we finished Ulysses this summer, which was my 3rd reread of Ulysses, I said that, I was not going to attempt Finnegans Wake, and that I probably had read Ulysses for the last time as well, and that I would stick to Joyce's shorter works, which I have loved. And yet here I am, having signed on to read Finnegans Wake with the Ulysses 6. And it's a different group now. Other people have joined, and some of the Ulysses 6 are not participating, so I'm not sure what the group is going to be called at this point, but I know it's going to be, I know the people in this group are going to make this a great experience. I am participating in People April. This is a reading event where we read books about people. We read memoirs, diaries, letters, biographies, autobiographies. This is an event hosted by my friends Roz at Scallydandling About the Book, Elisabeth at Bookins and Books, and Brian at The Bookish Texan. And the group read for this reading event is one that I have heard only glowing reviews about, and that's Chloe Dalton's memoir, Raising Hair. And I'm really, really looking forward to this. Additionally, I hope to start, I don't know that it's realistic that I'll be able to finish this, but I hope to start Jonathan Bates' biography of William Wordsworth. It's called Radical Wordsworth, the poet who changed the world. I've been an almost lifetime fan of the poetry of William Wordsworth. I did my master's thesis on the poetry of William Wordsworth. I heard Aaron Facer talking about this biography some time ago, and I thought that's one that I need to have on my TBR. So while I don't know if it's realistic that I will be able to finish this in April, I am definitely going to start it for People April. Additionally, my friend Randy Ray, the literate Texan, has started a book club. And for the month of April, the reading is the complete sonnets of William Shakespeare. And I thought that sounded like a wonderful idea. I've read many of the sonnets, I've taught many of the sonnets, but I don't think I've ever read the whole collection. And I'm really looking forward to doing that with Randy and the other members of his book club. I believe also that Melinda at A Web of Stories is reading in her Shakespeare project, and she has a group on Discord called The Bard Room, where they discuss Shakespeare plays each month. For the month of April, because it's National Poetry Month, they're reading Venus and Adonis, which is also in this collection. And I think I'm going to give that a try too, as I'm always reading poetry anyway, so why not? Additionally, I am continuing to read with the Pig and Whistle Clifford D. Simak reading group, and our book for April is Time and Again. Just a little bit from the back of this. What would you think if you found an old book signed with your name and learned that it bore a date in the distant future? It happened to Asher Sutton, and when he set out to investigate the incredible enigma, he found that book a passport and ticket to a galactic empire many thousands of years from now. That sounds like fun. And the Heinlein reading group for April is reading Assignment in Eternity. And this book contains actually 2 short novels or novellas, really, Gulf and Lost Legacy, and also 2 short stories. So this collection is Jerry Was a Man, Lost Legacy, Else When, and Gulf. So those are our Heinlein readings for the month of April. My own book group, my in-person book group in April, is reading Ariel Lawhon's The Frozen River. And this is a historical novel set in Maine in the 1780s. I have started that actually, because our group sort of goes from the middle of the month to the middle of the month. So we actually started this last week, and it's really, really good. It is really compelling. Additionally, because April is Poetry Month, National Poetry Month, in addition to the Shakespeare poetry that I talked about, I would also like to make a dent in the new Poetry Unbound collection by Patrick Otuma. His new book is 44 poems on being with each other. This collection comes from Otuma's podcast called Poetry Unbound. And in that podcast, he reads a poem, not one that he has written, but one that is written by another poet. Sometimes they're contemporary poets, sometimes not. He reads the poem, he discusses the poem, and then he reads the poem again. And he created a volume after he had done that for so many months, and that was the first Poetry Unbound collection. And this is his newest book, where he talks about, he includes 44 poems and then gives his brief discussion about each poem. So I have been reading around in this for, just because I read a lot of poetry and and I'm always looking for poetry to bring to the channel. But I think I'm going to go back to the beginning and read this in a more systematic way. I also learned about an event. Well, this is an event that I heard about last year, but I didn't get. I think I was just too late to jump in. But this is an event created by Vin at Revenant Reads, and he's got a whole bunch of great hosts. But this is an event where they read Viking sagas. I think the event is called Sagalong. And for this year, they are reading Icelandic sagas, the Saga of the Greenlanders and the Eric the Red saga. And they are included in this Penguin Classic. And they are they're relatively short from what I understand. I mean, this whole volume contains both sagas, contains a ton of notes and maps, and a really sizable introduction as well on the sagas. So I think the actual two sagas that we're reading are just about, I don't know, one of them is 40 something pages, and no, I think the whole thing is about 50 pages, I think. So that seemed like that would be something fun to read. And I think time-wise, this also fits into quarter 2 for Historathon. I also have been participating in Angelia's reading event, Endless Drama. Angelia has selected 2 plays for each month that we read together. The plays for April are Moises Kaufman's The Laramie Project and August Wilson's The Piano Lesson. And I have put in a request at my library that they get both of these for me through our interlibrary loan system. So I'm still waiting for them, but I'm optimistic that at least one of them will be here by the time April starts, and they get stuff for me pretty quickly. So I don't have them to show, but I believe they are on the way. And then I also learned about a delightful reading event called Picture This. And this is an event that is being hosted by my friends Jack at Spread Book Joy and Shelly at Shellyish. And this is a reading event revolving around picture books. It's a celebration of picture books. And this year also, I mean, they have a bunch of prompts for the picture books, but they are all meant in some way or another to honor our friend Alice, whom we lost last year. And she was a great supporter of this event. So I just, I mentioned in another video that we have a new baby in the family, and this new baby joins an older sister, who is the absolute light of my life, and I'm just overflowing with joy about this new role that my little Anna is playing as a big sister, and just to have this new baby boy in our family. And I thought that I would love to participate in Picture This, and then the books that I read for this, and I have found books, or I'm in the process of acquiring books that will fit all of the prompts, and the ones that are books for little children, I'm going to pass on to these beautiful little people in my life. But a couple that I thought would be great for this event. This is one that is not. I'm not going to pass on, at least not right now, to my little family members. But this is a beautiful copy that I received of Les Miserables, a very abridged edition of it. This was a beautiful gift that I received for Christmas from a very, very dear friend of mine and a former colleague. So this is an abridged version of Les Miserables, but it is a picture book. I mean, in addition to an abridged version of the text, the book just contains absolutely beautiful, beautiful pictures. So I'm really, really looking forward to this. And I read Les Miserables for the first time last April. So this is just a perfect way to observe my first anniversary of having read this book that really was a life-changing experience for me. So I'm really looking forward to that. One of the prompts in Picture This is to read a book that is illustrated by the artist John Klassen. And for that, I picked a middle grade book. So this is one that I'm going to pass on to my family members, but they're still a little bit too young for this. But after I finish reading Pax, which is by Sarah Pennypacker and illustrated by John Klassen, after I finish this one, I'm going to pass this on to my to my nephew for his children. But this is illustrated throughout, and this was a National Book Award finalist. And then just a few of the other really beautiful books that I've picked up. One of the prompts is to read a mystery because Alice loved mysteries, and so I picked The 11th Hour, a curious mystery. This is just a really, really beautiful tale and beautifully illustrated. But I'll talk more about this when we get into it. But this is one that I'm going to pass on to my family. And another one of the prompts, because it relates to Alice's channel name, is to find a book with giant in the title, or giants, or a book about giants, and I found Oliver and the Night Giants. And this is also just really, really beautiful, beautiful book. And I'll show more about that when the time comes. There's another prompt about having a cat on the cover, and I found a picture book about science fiction. This one is about animal astronaut heroes, and there is a cat on the cover. This is all a book about animals in space. So I know some people who are going to enjoy that. And I have a couple others that I'm still waiting for. So those are my picture books. So I think those are going to be really fun, and those will make for lovely gifts as well. So that's a rough outline of what I'm hoping to accomplish in April. And of course, I will keep you posted each week about my progress on all of these reading events. So I hope that, maybe you're joining in on some of these events. I'd love to hear in the comments what you're planning to participate in April, or not participate in, just what you're planning to read during the month of April. I would love to hear about that, and let me know if you are reading any of these things that I talked about here. So, as always, I thank you for watching. I hope that you're doing well. I'll speak with you again soon. Take care.